With us tonight, we have Josh Deering, the Fire Chief, our DPW Director, myself, Emily Miller, Kathy McNamara from the OEM, and Mark Matheson, who we're expecting to be here, and Rick Cianfiglione, who is going to be joining us via Zoom. All right. The first item on the agenda is a call to order. Next, we'll have a public comment, and I will entertain a comment. Sir.
I'm Tony Pearl, Pride's Path. When the town voted to build this fire station, it was a huge vote of confidence, and thank you to Chief Deering and his staff for the extraordinarily high level of their performance. I would also like to remind you that the opposition to the firehouse was cost. Several members of the Finance Committee abstained. They abstained because they thought there was not enough rigor in reducing the cost in most budgets where the requester asks for everything possible. The voters and some members of the FinCom are relying on this committee to approve what is necessary and not nice to have. The town is facing millions in sewers expenses. A recent study on the consolidation of the schools estimate that the cost in a range of $67 million to $74 million in combining the various towns. The cost of going it alone, keeping the town schools as they are, is even higher. Then there are the other projects like the library and safety items like new sidewalks, which will add millions more. As I said to the town when I supported the project, that this group had the expertise and will to bring the cost in as low as possible. This is not a rebuff of Chief Deering. Please consider the broader town needs as you deliberate. We can't afford all that the chief and the select board wants. Saving a few $1,000s here and there makes a difference. When Ted responded to the comment that it could be a prettier building, that he was keeping cost and taxes in mind, those of us who were concerned for the taxes in the town were delighted. Every $1,000 saved here and there counts. Thank you.
Thank you. And just a reminder, where we are is town meeting has approved $55 million, and this we're still very much an open-ended project here, so there are a great many things that are yet to be determined. And at that point, I think maybe, although what I'd like to do perhaps under the public comment is we had a letter from Mark Burson regarding a requested formal design change regarding anticipation of AI being AI ready. He has laid this out in a letter to us. Did everybody get an opportunity to look at that? So, okay. Well, let's see. If nobody has? Okay. Well, then I think he was requesting that we make a recommendation to the select board. He's not here tonight, so I think what we'll do is, until everybody can take a look at this, I think we'll put this off. Okay. We'll move on to project update.
There's another public comment.
I'm sorry, Scott.
Not a problem, Pete. First time. Scott Zanke, Doan Road. Congratulations to all you guys for getting this thing over the hump. You put in an enormous amount of time and hours to get it to where it is now. So congratulations. And again, Galante Group, thank you for hanging in there with us. I know a lot of architects and engineers would have said, give me a call when you got your ducks in a row, but you got it done. I second Tony's speech there, that if we can bring this thing in the low 50s, it's a home run. It's something that we really got a slope for. Being an old site guy, I had some questions looking at some of the drawings that early on, and I'll hold comment, I think, as you guys update. But the slopes on the roof, gutter and downspout, the flat roof, scupper and downspout, or interior drainage. Will there be floor drains in the equipment base? If they are, being on septic, you're gonna need a holding tank. Bathroom should have interior floor drains. In my tenure, I had a men's room that overflowed, toilet kept running due to the new flushers, and it was a $70,000 renovation of cutting an entire building 3 feet up of sheetrock. So it's just, if it's in the budget, it's a little bit of insurance that if something goes wrong in the bathroom, at least you got drainage. It's not gonna be floating out into the hallways. On your sewer lateral, looking at that, originally was against the sheeting. The sheeting, I've got some questions on where it, the corner of the building, and also where it ties into the existing firehouse. Possible impervious blacktop in the rear of the building. Obviously, pervious material in the front once you hit the apron to Eldridge. You're gonna need, I put in firehouses with 9 inches of blacktop over 12 inches of processed stone. Drainage itself, I don't know if we're looking at a retention basin out back, or where we're gonna actually send water as it cascades down. Yeah, and they're moving the sheet wall. One thing, if we're still on a 38,000 cubic yard estimate for this site, basically what we do when you had a job like this, you'd figure out your estimate and then work from there, the amount of truckloads that'll be coming in. Granted, this is not all sand fill, some of it's gonna be concrete, because we're basically taking the surface of the property itself. Estimated at 38,000, you'd add 13% as a fluff factor, so you're at 42,940 cubic yards. Divide that by 20 cubic yards per truck coming in, and you've got 2,147 trips coming down Eldridge Parkway. You got an additional 2,147 leaving Eldridge Parkway. Granted, this will be broken up between phase 1, phase 2. Majority of it, I think, goes in phase 2. Considering a triaxle trailer dump is equal to 1,000 cars, you're basically looking at 2,147,000 cars on Eldridge Parkway. So when this project is done, I would suggest that Eldridge Parkway goes on the paving list. It'll be due. Thank you for all your time you guys put in. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to the third item on the agenda, which is to receive a project update from Pomeroy Associates and to gas. Rick?
Good evening. Apollo and Mark are going to, Marshall are going to give you an update on the design in a moment, but I just want to let you know we received our schematic design estimate last Wednesday, and there's a budget recap on the last slide. We can go through it later, but the good news is we're right on budget. I think we're about $85,000 off the preliminary numbers. The SD estimate is based upon the documents that you see here. Very early set of drawings. We're going to leave these with Mark. If anybody wants to take a look at them, just remember that they're early documents. At the completion of the SD phase is where we're at right now. We'll move into design development, which is when we take the information that was developed in the SD phase, which is schematic design, we refine that, we tweak it, and we looked for cost savings, we look for practicality and constructability in all of the components. And at the completion of the design development phase, we'll do 2 estimates. one outside estimate and one completed by the Galante Group's estimator. At that point, after reconciliation of the estimates and the documents, and provided that everything is looking good, we would move into the construction document phase. And it's kind of laid out in the schedule here as well. And the construction document phase is when all of the majority of the decisions have been made. 95% of the decisions have been made during the design development. We've tweaked it, we've looked at cost-saving measures, we've looked at value engineering options to get to where we know that the documents are ready to be finalized. And the construction document phase is when all of the Ts are crossed, the Is are dotted, the specifications are completely built, and we're preparing a set of documents that contractors then can review and provide bids on. So right now, we're at the end of the first phase. The estimates came in right on mark. We're very happy with that, and within those estimates, we had several options. So within the number that we have right now is full ground source heat pump system, as well as photovoltaic arrays on site and on the building. So we've taken the premium items across the board, and it looks good.
When we last met, we were talking about 60 million, and this got revised to 55. Can you give us a brief synopsis as to where that 5 million came from?
We're from 60 to 55?
Yeah.
Well, we looked at, by the purchase of that additional parcel, it's allowed us to stay away from the school property and that whole temporary entrance and permanent entrance. There's a cost-saving measure there. We also looked at the simplification of the design in the sense that 50% of the building is flat roofed rather than gabled roofed. There's a cost associated with that. It's just more informed information with regards to the soils and the site. All of our soil borings have been completed, so we knew exactly what we were dealing with. So I would say that those are the 3 or 4 major factors that made us comfortable with the 55.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Rick? All right. Okay, let's move on to architecture.
Yep. Good evening. Paolo Carissimi from the Galante Architecture Studio. So again, as Rick mentioned, very happy to come here. We completed the schematic design phase. As Rick mentioned, the documentation is available here. We got a set of drawings. We have the outline specs for the project, and we have a booklet which includes the narratives from the engineers, structural engineer, MEP engineer, which also have done some preliminary study on zones for the HVAC equipment and such. You will find it in there. And again, we're happy to see some good numbers to come in. And we just want to, so most of the material for the SD phase, it's there. We just wanted to give you like a brief update through the presentation and show you where the design is at, because we mentioned several things about site, about the building, about the plans of the building, the layout. So we just wanted to show you, briefly show you where we had with those elements. So we have proposed the latest proposed site plan, some building plans and elevation, which we also put in the presentation, the outbuilding plan and elevation. That's very simple volume in the back, in the rear of the site. And then we have some updated 3D massing views and schedule and budget at the end. So for what concern the proposed site plan, after all the discussion, many discussion we had here, but we also had in our weekly working group meeting, as you can see, we ended up with the building that has the two main volumes, one on the left, which is the living quarters and the admin, and you can see there is a line in the middle which indicates the gable roof. And the other main volume on the right is the apparatus bay flat roof, and they both showing arrays of solar panel on the roof. In the back, you can see the outbuilding is this rectangle here, and then we have a canopy running over the spots, a series of parking spot in the back. We have the main entrance, which we modified to basically come out where the old entrance towards the existing fire station is, so that we can reuse the existing traffic light. We don't have to put a new traffic light or move things around. This is all nice concrete apron for the fire department, and then they have this island so that the truck can come in and have an easy of maneuvering around to get back into position and back in the house. We have some green here, some green on the side. There's gonna be transformer and generator for the building, of course, on the side here. The public entrance, which you know it's now on the front. There's gonna be access from the sidewalk, some green. We talked about doing some other adjustment. Of course, there's gonna be a flag, but we'll see that more in detail now that we start going into DD. And then we have a series of public parking on the side here. And then after this point, as you see here, it's authorized vehicles only. So this entire area in the back and a few spots on the side are for the for staff only. In fact, here in the back there is also a staff entrance. We talked about giving like a little bit of a apron in the back also, because there are going to be vehicles leaving the building from the back. There is a tower. You can get a glance of the training tower here. We moved the parking lot a little bit to the left so that this area is completely available for the trucks to come in and out, but also it could be used as training when needed. So these are mostly like the changes. Septic located in the back. The parking lot, we had some preliminary discussion with the civil about like the grading, so they went back a little, but the total number is still 45, like the one that we had in the beginning. So I think we are at the good point with the site. Of course, again, when we move in DD, we're getting a lot more into detail, and we're gonna just have like all kind of like details and indicate elevation and everything. When we move into the building plans, so first floor, the entrance, the south is basically on your plan east. So you see the entrance on the right-hand side of the building. There is a lobby, elevator, and then all the bunks are on this side. Connection through the turnout gear and through corridor with the apparatus bay. Fitness room, which Chief, just for your information, you were talking about the size of that fitness room. We went from the latest you had seen, I think it was around 720 square feet, and now we're at around 860. So we were able to gain, moving things around, to gave you a little bit more room in there. And then there is a dining, kitchen in the back with the stair. That would be the entrance for the staff, so that they can go inside the building from their parking lot or up on the second floor, which we'll see it's for the admin. Colors, as you can see, the red is what we call the hot zone, so the zone where all the carcinogens are in the air. So we don't wanna get those carcinogens to travel into the green area, which is the cold zone. So these area in yellow are the transitional area where when we start working with the mechanical engineers, we'll through ventilation and pressure, negative pressure, we'll make sure that those carcinogens cannot travel into the area where the firefighters are leaving. Tower in the back, some all the kind of like room and areas that the fire department needs to support their operations. Moving on the second floor, we have offices on the side and on the back, a couple of conference room, a training room with a kitchenette and break room, Then this is, of course, the stair that connects the two floor, and then the stair in the front with the elevator. On the other side, on the apparatus bay side, these two more like a bright pink areas are double height volumes that are for the apparatus bay, of course, because big trucks and operation, big overhead doors here, so they need a bigger height than a regular floor. And then over those accessory room that we saw on the first floor, we have a mezzanine space that from a transitional vestibule here on the side connects that through the back to the training tower. So this mezzanine can be used also for training, can be used for storage, can be used for many things. I mean, we found that fire department like to use like mezzanine for all kind of things. And there is also a stair here for quick access from the apparatus bay area to that mezzanine area. On the side here, there's the trellis. We have a canopy in the front to shade on the entrance of the building. And then moving on, we just started to think also about an attic area, so accessible from the back of the building, not the entire square footage of that volume, but just part of it can be used for attic. We still have to coordinate with our engineer and see if there's something that's gonna have like some mechanical system, or if it's gonna have just or if it's gonna be all like additional storage for the fire department if needed. But as you can see, we're like the total gross building area. It's around 49,000 square feet that we discussed like lately. But the attic floor is just like a small part of it, and we don't think that we need to cover the entire volume for the attic floor. As far as building elevation, these are just some schematic, again, as Rick mentioned, schematic design elevation. The more we move into the documents, design development and then construction documents, these are gonna be filled with information about material, about height, and all sort of information that you need to have on a nice construction set. You see some elements here, so the two volumes, this is actually the rear of the building. If we move into the front, so we have the entrance with the canopy here. There is a glazed entrance with the fire department badge, logo here on the side. The two gables, there is a piece that kind of like act as a connector between the two main volume, and then there is the flat roof for the apparatus bay area, which is not as appealing as a gable roof, of course, but we're thinking about doing like some cornice at the top, just not to have like a flat line on the top, but also as Rick mentioned, I mean, flat roof, the gable roof add volumes to the building, and that volume has a cost. Doesn't have like a big cost as the other part of the building, but it still has a cost, and being a big volume, it adds up into the cost, the construction cost of the building. So this is the side looking at the ballpark. You see here the solar panel on one of the gables, and then here on the other side, these are the other solar panel, and then the back of the building with the staff entrance, and then with the back apparatus bay and the tower. As far as material, we were thinking about using brick for the apparatus bay volume and tower, solid brick veneer with the backup of CMU. Those are volume where like a lot happen, a lot of activity, a lot of washing down. That is like trucks, and so we need to have resistant, very resistant material, easy to maintain, easy to clean. So that's one of the best CMU ground face CMU brick veneer. It's one of the best material, most durable material that we can get. And then on the connector, we were thinking of some sort of like stone, just to break, just to give as like a break between the two volumes, and then some wood siding, which will kind of give more like the sense of a living residential building, while the brick and the CMU give more like a commercial, like a durable, strong sense to that building. Some color here start to kind of like give the idea of the material, some color and texture, but again, moving into DD and then renderings, we're gonna work on some renderings just to show how the building actually will look in reality.
Paula, could I jump in for a moment?
Yep, go ahead, Rick.
Talking about the building elevations, our plan is that the design team over the next couple of weeks is going to do some additional refinement and suggestions for the building elevations. And we're thinking by the end of this month, we'll be ready. We would like to set up a public forum and have the information to the public and have a charrette session in person and also online access where people can issue comments. Our goal is we don't want to drag this out for a long length of time, but we committed to the public that we would be having an open discussion on, the building and how it looks. So we talked a little bit today about that, and we've built this into our schedule, and we're hoping that, the town supports that idea.
I'm personally very relieved by that. I think it was pretty evident at town meeting that although there was a reluctance about the budget issues, I think one of the other big issues was aesthetically, this just isn't there yet. And I think it really goes to that 60-foot section on Eldridge Parkway. I think personally, I think the rest of the building, I think we're all but there. But I think there's a lot of room to be done on that 60-foot section. The charrette would be a fantastic thing, because at that point, I think people who are really interested could come in and make comment on it. I think that's a great idea.
Good. I'm glad that you all like that. And so we're thinking of the second full week of July, which would begin with July 13th, I think it is. We're thinking of possibly the 14th or 15th along those lines.
Yeah.
But as you know, the design team, like these drawings, look far more advanced than what we looked at town meeting. So everything happens in good measure. So the design team would like another couple of weeks to sort of bake this a little bit more, and we'll have a public tasting on it.
Any questions?
Thank you, Paula.
Thank you, Rick. So moving on, we have outbuilding plan. The outbuilding is it's going to be a very simple volume, just for some additional vehicle for the fire department, and a little bit of storage. And it's going to look just very simple. We're going to have some siding over the main volume, and then as you've seen in the site plan, there's going to be the canopy. There's going to be some solar panel on top of the building itself, and then a solar canopy that will build on the right, starting from the side of the outbuilding. As far as view, so we advanced it a little bit, the view. So now you can see some refined view again. Not the material yet. So that's the next step, as Rick mentioned. These are already more refined compared to the latest view that you have seen. So now the next step for us would be to start showing the actual material, and maybe if we can do some Photoshop working just to kind of like put these in the actual context of like the street view, to see what the residents will actually see when they're driving on Eldridge Parkway. So this is kind of like taken where the current road comes from the existing fire department, and you see the volume of the apparatus bay soon in the front here, and the living quarters towards the back. If we move ahead, a little bit ahead on Eldridge Parkway, now we're close to the entrance of the living and admin area, with the trellis on the side and the gable roof with the solar panels, and then moving around the building, and in the back there is the corner here where the staff can enter the building, some overhead door on the side for the tower, and then for the rear apparatus bay, and then the training tower. And then this one that is kind of like scary to see it this way, but it's just a perspective thing. And we've been having a discussion about the height of the tower itself, so that's not like finally set. So it's not something that we are married to. So if when we have the discussion with the fire department and we'll talk about their need, there is space to work with the height of the tower. So just these are like the four view that we had worked on, and we mostly will work on for the rendering that are needed for like community outreach, and to show the community what the new building would look like, and to get feedback on that. As far as schedule and budget, so we just we're ending the SD phase, as you can see, like mid-June here. There's a big yellow strip saying we are here, and then so after we're gonna start working already on design development, because there is a lot of work to do on design development, starting the conversation with the consultant. That's a big part of it, because the consultant, again, they just put together some of the narratives that you see there in the package, but they didn't start working on the model itself. So we have a BIM, so-called model, Revit model, building information modeling that we have built. So now we'll share it with our consultant, and they start to put their pieces in there, like all the equipment for the MEP guys, the structural guys will start to put this beam, will start to work on columns and way to support the roof, the gable roof, and the entire structure. So now we entered in a big phase of the design development. So there are pieces that we can that we can definitely start working on while we're going through the community outreach process, and that we will still have to go through, no matter what would be the results of no matter what's the feedback that we receive. So we'll start working on that pieces of the project, and our goal would be to have the DD completed like around the end of September. And at that point, we'll have another cost estimate. And as Rick was saying, that would be also the time to have a separate cost estimate, so that we can have ours and the third-party cost estimate compared and reconciliated. And then after that, then we get into the construction documents phase, where we really get into like all the small details that contractor will need in order to put this building together. And at the same time, we'll go through permitting. We have all the zoning, planning board, all the meetings that are necessary to understand and to be ready to build with the right permitting. And then there is a period that should end like at the end of January. And after that, of course, we enter in a bidding and negotiation process, where we get the bids from contractor, subcontractor, and then in a couple of months that ends, we have our contractor on board. We start construction like around mid 2027, and then we have a little bit more than a year for construction. Last slide.
Just talk
Go ahead.
about schedule just a little
Yep.
bit. So I would say we're off of our original goals and objectives. I would say we're a month plus off schedule. A lot of time was spent from mid-December till now, all for the right reasons, because there's a lot of information that needed to be gathered and presented and a consensus to be gained. And we can deal with that. The design, development, and construction document phases is when we become a little bit more rigorous. We're going to have a decision-making matrix, and we're going to need to move at a valued pace in all of the decisions that we make. In other words, we're talking about the building elevations and the materials.
Yeah.
If we labor over that for a couple of months, that's just going to put our design development phase back. So it's our job to control that schedule for you, and we'll be, laying all that out for you. And during the design development phase is when we start narrowing down all of our soft costs, because we have a big amount of soft costs that are included in the overall budget. So we still need to start nailing those down and getting quotes for different pieces of equipment and so on and so forth. So there's a lot that happens in the design development in the construction document phase. A lot of people, and it's a locomotive that is moving. And so if we stop at any moment, the momentum is lost. So it's our goal to keep us on track. And so we'll be giving you regular updates on those decision-making milestones. And the working group has been fantastic. The dynamics and the feedback that we're getting are just are perfect, and we're able to move things at a very good pace. When we talk about the building elevations and having that charrette in a couple of weeks, I just want to make it clear that we're not talking about building layout. We're not talking about building program or building operations. We're talking about how the building looks. The design team has spent a lot of time with the department to go through the nuances of the floor plan, how a firefighter gets from here to there safely, their response time within the facility. All that's nailed down.
Yeah.
So we're really, looking at a little bit of tweaking maybe here and there, but for all intents and purposes, our floor plans are set. And now we're just going to establish what our building's going to look like, how the systems are going to operate, how the systems are going to talk with one another, all of those components that make a building operate. So some fun times in the next couple of months.
Can I ask a question, Peter, about the, just in terms of design, one of the things that came to me after comments that were made at town meeting and driving by that site, oftentimes during the day or the week. If you go back to the slide, so any of these, and I know that it's probably subjective in terms of what people think about how the building looks, but I know we did have discussions about gable end buildings being relatively more attractive to most people than the flat roof ones and whatnot. And then when we look at that long wall of the equipment bay portion of the building.
There you go.
On that side?
That one there, right?
Yep.
So, one of the things that came to me after these conversations was, would it be possible to mirror image the layout so that as you come down Eldridge Parkway from Route 28, you have the wide open fields of the middle school playing areas.
Yep.
And you're gonna see that building in front of you all the way down the road. But if you're coming the other way from 6A down Eldridge Parkway, the first thing you're gonna see is the gable end building, but that's obscured by the trees, the buildings, the dentist's office and whatnot. So the more attractive portion of the building is obscured, and the least attractive portion of the building is wide open. And I'm wondering if we could just mirror image. And I know initially we started out with the equipment bays on that east side because we were looking at the potential of having, a third level down below, using the dip in the ground and all that stuff. And I'm wondering whether there was, Chief, you might answer this more than anyone. Is there, an advantage to having the equipment bays on that east side of the building and the living space on the west? Or could we just mirror image that so that we have a much more attractive facade in that big exposed area of the middle school playing fields and whatnot, and then the less attractive facade is buried in the woods.
Can I address that for a second? I think one of the things to keep in mind is, that side of the building, scale-wise, it's competing with.
No, I understand that,
With,
yeah.
with the, you know, the athletic fields. I think scale-wise, I don't think there's really so much an issue that way. And quite frankly, I think at the end of the day, if you could see this building from 28 or from 6A, all the better. You know, it's the fire station.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I'm
But I
just saying,
think-
you know, that, again, in response to the comments that people were making about the building, and if there's a way we can make it,
Oh, I think there's plenty of ways to go
Okay.
at this, and I don't think we have to flip the whole program.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty close there. I think really, most of it is in that 60-foot section, this public portal on Eldridge Parkway. That's the thing you see. The rest of this, I think, you know, competes with, you know, again, things of equal scale.
yeah.
My opinion.
Yeah, no, it was just a question
I think one of the point also when we started working on the site plan was also like visibility for the fire department when coming out of the station, right? So I think that side was a little bit more open compared to the as we were saying, like trees and vegetation on that side. So I think it was also, Chief, correct me if I'm wrong, it was a visual.
That's part of it, is
Yeah.
definitely the curve of the road and some of the topography there, making sure the trucks are visible as they pull out. And how we work with the site that we have, you know, some of that stuff. I think that was, it was a consideration that way.
And then we did start looking at that, considering, I mean, those lines that you see, again, we have some more work to do, but those lines that you see originally in the first, like, very diagrammatic sketch, we didn't have anything on that elevation, was just brick. Now we're thinking about doing some recess and recessing the window in there. The higher window that you see on the right, those are because we have a mezzanine up there, so those are higher window. And then we have but definitely there is still some work to be done on these elevations.
yeah, I understand. I mean, I don't want to see this thing get undue criticism because people are more concerned about what it looks like as opposed to the function they actually serve.
Yeah, no,
We're
that's
We're
right.
closer than you think, I think. I really do. I think that. I think
And then the renderized view, I think, will help to
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
appreciate, to get the depths of the material, the real color. That will help a lot more to understand the dynamics of the
Well,
building,
it's-
I believe.
You know, obviously, it's night and day between this rendering and then the later ones. You know,
Mhm.
and that, it makes a huge difference, and then as you refine them even more, I think people become
Yeah,
more accepting and willing to look at it with the,
yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Yep. I think we had the last slide, but it was basically the budget that Rick mentioned in the beginning, just to show at the end. It was like little down here, but just to show that we are in that 55 million number that we had discussed also at town meeting. Again, a lot of work to be done. DD. When we kind of like get a lot more into detail, we'll refine these number even better, and with the reconciliation, we're gonna be able to have some like real solid number to work with.
Yeah, if you look at line 11, that's where the difference between what was, you know, carried and valued for town meeting, and then the next column over, line 11, is the estimate that was just received last week. So we're within $90,000 of where things went. We were really happy to see that. And, you know, the goal is to continue to refine. You know, we're not sitting still on that number.
Yeah.
If we can find cost savings, we will. all the way along. Everything I was talking about, the soft cost, all of the we have $9.3 million of soft cost. Our goal is now to start getting those narrowed down, getting those finalized. We can't issue purchase orders just yet for items, but the things that we can narrow down, we will.
All right. Any other questions?
There's a question in the audience.
Yes, Andrew.
Public comment?
Would you go to the podium, please? We can hear you.
Do you want me to go there or you want me to talk?
No, the podium, and then everybody can hear you.
You can sit here if you're more comfortable.
I can stand. Jump in a second. Good afternoon. I'm Andrew Miao. I'm an architect. I serve on 2 town boards, Architectural Review and also Old Kings Highway. But I'm not there to represent any of these committees. I want to talk about 2 issues tonight that I'm concerned about. The first is energy and cost. Of course, they're closely related. You are all working on a building for net zero. Question 1, have calculations been made to balance the different elements that go into net zero and the cost effectiveness of each and every one of those things? Geothermal is very expensive. Do we have enough solar panels? What's the trade-off between solar panels and geothermal? Can we achieve the net zero? And who monitors the net zero? The other part that's related to that is how materials affect energy. I think that's very clear to everybody. The brick and CMU backup wall is not the most energy efficient wall. Brick itself is a high maintenance item because of something that you all know as efflorescence. Things drip white, and need clearing. That leaching is usually from the mortar, and I have not seen anybody be able to avoid that. Are there other material choices for that building that will be more energy efficient and lower maintenance? For example, if these were made out of metal panels that had thick insulated, polyethylene insulation behind, we could have some very, very effective, and energy efficient skin for the building. We could use the rain screen principle, which will make it very airtight. And I think what that comes out to is savings for this project that can go back into this project for other things we want, or just go back to the taxpayers' money, which they never had to spend. Are these things that have been considered? Now, I said the first thing has to do with energy and cost, so I'm sure that they're somewhat related. Now I want to go over to design. At town meeting, there was a gentleman who spoke up at the end of the meeting. All of you know him, Bob Wilkerson, who's on the Zoning Board of Appeals. Do you all remember his quote? "This is ugly." Now, the vote was called at that point, so there was no other further discussion. Mr. Galante made a reply that I want to share with you all, because he said, well, we're doing what we can because it's cost effective. You want to put gables, you want to put roofs, and whatever, it's going to cost you money. Well, maybe you were there too, sir. Now, I'm very gladdened to see that he has now come in and put a very nice gable on the west module, Now, based on what he's saying, that it costs money, is this now costing more money? I understand we're not only that, we're still staying within budget so that it's not that we can't modify the design. There has to be trade-offs. One of the earlier schemes that was presented to this committee was called the clear-story scheme. Do you all remember that? With sloping roofs? Now, the thing about those sloping roofs, okay, is that they are fully able to have solar panels. In addition to that, it's called clear-story. The sloping roof comes down, and this side is all glass. That's daylighting. Daylighting that will lessen the need for electric lights, because both in the equipment areas and possibly even in the offices, you could have natural daylight, reducing the cost of electricity. That's a savings. That's money you can use. That's money you can go into the project. So the thought is, what suppose we had 2 sloping roofs, okay, with light coming from the west, both with clear story. That's totally workable. There is nothing magic about the fact that this has to look like residential Cape Cod. God forbid that we have big buildings that try to look like little buildings. No, that's not going to happen. I am for good design, good, beautiful design, and to use the elements with the well-functioning building, which has already happened, okay? I love the building, I love the plan changes, but I think the outside shell can be analyzed from energy, cost, and design perspective to create something more functional, more cost-effective, and more pleasing to the eye, and more just basically newer looking. So that's all I have to say. I hope that your committee will consider these comments, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. Next on the agenda is to review the charge. I thought it might be kind of handy just for us to take a quick look at the charge, especially for those folks that haven't been through this process before. We are probably about a third of the way through, and there's still quite a bit to do on and complete the charge. But I just wanted everybody to kind of get aware of the fact that, you know, we do have quite a bit of work left in front of us. There'll be change orders, and as we know, we're still not there on design issues, so that was the reason for that. All right. We'll move on to voting to approve the minutes for 4/13. Do I hear,
Move to approve
Any
the
questions?
413 minutes.
do I hear?
Second.
All right, and a vote.
Jeff Deering, aye.
Is
Twaldo, aye.
Peter Kenny, aye.
Mark Matheson, aye?
Kathy McMyer, aye.
Emily Miller, aye.
Mark Real, aye.
Unanimous. Rick?
Rick, you gonna vote?
Okay,
Rick Chamfalione, aye.
okay, thank you. And now for the minutes for May 4th.
Move to approve the minutes of May 4th?
Second.
Second, all right, and a vote.
Jeff Deering, aye.
Rich Waldo, aye.
Peter Kenny, aye.
Mark Matheson, aye?
Kathy McMyer, aye.
Emily Miller, aye.
Mark Real, aye.
Rick Chamfalione, aye.
Okay, thank you. All right, on to upcoming meeting dates. Are we 2 weeks from now, is that?
I apologize, I didn't even think of that. But I think that, so our goal is to, let's just look at this now. Goal is to be, have some meaningful information on or about the 29th, and then have public forum the 13th, the week of the 13th. Do we need to meet with the committee before that time, or perhaps you schedule your meeting at the time of the charrette session or public forum?
I
Does that make sense?
don't think so. The only thing is, the Burson letter, which, I guess we could, we could take that up.
I think, if I may, Mr. Chair, you've seen that letter regarding the AI infrastructure. I think Kevin Galligan sent it over.
Okay, all right.
It's a lengthy letter about including AI-related wiring. I've never heard of it. I don't know what it is, but
I have a copy of the letter if you'd like.
no, I think Kevin.
I'm sure that it was sent to me. I probably just don't recognize it right now. I apologize. But let me take a look at it. If it's just infrastructure, we do have some time to act on it and discuss it. But I'd like to talk about it with the design team first. But if it's, just an upgraded, Cat 6 to Cat 15 or something like that, or whatever it can be.
It's a pretty complete statement. It shouldn't be difficult. It's an awful lot of information. It looks like this person is pretty familiar with what he's talking about, so.
Yeah, and I guess we can review that with our consultant too, and just to kind of like understand what does that mean for the building and for the design, for the systems design in general.
The request was that the committee pass it along and have you review it, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
In your hands.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
So done. We'll review it and get back to you on that. But do you think that makes sense, Mark, to,
Yeah, I mean, unless the committee would like to provide some comments before that public meeting, I don't know if that's.
We meeting on the 29th?
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, we can. I think the next thing is to get to that charrette.
I mean, if you want to
Yeah.
just meet on that.
I think that would be the most productive thing for us at this point. I think from this point on, it's, we'll be waiting for you guys. Okay, so where are we,
So we're looking
we
at
at
the
here?
week of July 13th, so it's probably going to be the 14th or 15th.
okay? So what are we saying,
Tuesday or
July?
Wednesday.
does
we'll
the
confirm
14th work for you, Paulo?
I want to see also Ted.
Yeah.
When can I? Do
Unfortunately,
we
the
need to
13th is
schedule it
not-
now, or
No,
can we let you know?
We can work on it,
Okay.
Once you hear from Ted. Because we also have to make sure there's a room available.
Yeah, but then we'll hear from them. We'll let you know in the next couple of days, not any longer than that.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Okay, then we'll leave it at that. Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn
So moved.
Second?
and a vote?
Aye, Jeff Deering.
I, Rich Waldo.
Your Canadian, aye.
Mark Matheson, aye.
Kathy McNamara, aye.
Emily Miller, aye.
Mark Real, aye.
Rick Sanfilippo, aye.